¿Cómo está, Bryan?
Very good, thank you. Muy bien, pero
Felicidades.
muchas gracias.
How does it feel to wear the captain's armband?
Wow, was really nice experience. Really nice to be the captain today. I'm really happy.
How did you feel the team played overall? Obviously, it was a group that was mixed with some Monarchs players. Obviously, Aiden is very young still. Pablo, Chicho got their debuts. Just what did the 90 minutes mean to the team?
I think it was really important. Was really important because we need to play together. We need to know each other players. What you say, there's a young player, new player, so everyone together have to know each other as soon as possible because we are 2 weeks ago for the we are 2 weeks for the season start, so we have to be compact and unit as soon as possible and try to do everything together to be a real team.
Alex, Caleb, jump on in.
Yeah, I just had one question about what it's been like incorporating the new left back Alex Castranas into the team the last few days.
Yeah, I think we are happy to have Alex here because I think he's going to help the team to be to be better, more competitive for me, for all the players. So I think it's very important to have good players in the team, and I think the most important is to be a team, everyone together, and we try to help him to adapt as soon as possible.
And then how important was it to get Pablo Ruiz and Chicho back with the team?
I think for me, I'm really happy to see Pablo back because it was really difficult for him to be out for almost 6 months, a long time. And I think everyone in the team are happy to have him back. And also Chicho. Chicho is really nice to be back again, to start playing with him. Of course, I think it was the second day for him here in Portugal, so he need to be training a little bit more for for be more or for be better physically and get ready for the game against Miami.
And then lastly, what are you guys hoping to do in your last game on Friday, last game in Portugal?
I think we have to be or to take this opportunity very serious. I think we have 2 games on Saturday. I think everyone have the opportunity to play 90 or 60 minutes. So we have to be ready. It's what Paulo said a few days ago. I think everything is going really quick. We have only 2 weeks more for prepare the game against Miami. So we have to take everything ready and as soon as possible. So every training, every game is very important, and I think we have only 3 games before we start the season. So we have to training every day well and try to get the idea for for the coaches as soon as possible.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Hey, Bryan, thanks for joining us today. For you, what does it mean to go just have these preseason matches? You're a guy who spent a lot of your time in Europe, playing through Europe. What does it mean for you to be able to go out and have this preseason in Europe rather than playing Major League Soccer sides?
I think, well, for me and especially for the young players, it's really important to have this experience coming here, play against good teams like we play Bromby. Bromby is a team who normally plays Champions League, Europa League, or Conference League. So I think this a good opportunity for them to see how's the things here in Europe. I think I played before. I know how's work, it's beautiful play here in Europe, in England, Germany, Spain. I think this is a top league. So for the young players, it's really nice to get ambition and try to do everything really good in Real Salt Lake and try to to think always to come to Europe and try to play Champions League, Europe League. This is the two really nice tournaments we we aspire as a kid when play for our clubs.
And so you guys are getting close to the start of the season. What do you say the kind of the chemistry and the vibe with this group is? You guys lost a lot of key players this winter, but just what's it kind of been like incorporating guys like Fidel Barajas, and what's kind of the chemistry looking like for this team?
Yeah, I think we are a really new team. A lot of players leave, but I think a lot also coming in. So I think the most important is try to be a team as soon as possible. Try to be compact and solid, and try to help these new players to adapt the team as soon as possible, and and do our best in the trainings in the game. And I think this year we have to to push a little bit more, and we can be better than the last year and try to be in the final, to win the final and also win the league.
Awesome. Thanks, Brian.
Awesome. Brian,
Pleasure.
last question for me is just how happy will you be when you get back to Utah and you see Nelson Palacio and Andres Gomez waiting for the team after a very good Olympic camp with Colombia that they had?
Yeah, I think we miss Andres and Nelson also. They are two really good players for the team. So I think we need them to be with us as soon as possible and try to make the team better. I think the season is going to be long and really hard, so we have to be together as soon as possible and try to give everything for the team, because it's really important for us to be all the players together and start to building a something important.
We have a lot of players like those guys, like you, and many others who, over the course of a long season, like you just referenced, have to juggle playing for your club and representing your country. Do you have any, I guess, bits of advice or skills that you have learned to manage that travel and take care of your body and go back and forth between club and country?
I think this year also going to be a lot of games with the club and the country, but I think we are ready for this. I try to do a really good preseason, try to working hard every day for when coming the season, be ready for every game and in the club and also in the national team.
Thank you, my friend. Have a good
Okay.
lunch and good luck Friday.
Thank you very much. Bye. Good night or good afternoon there.
Ready when you are.
Alex, Caleb, whichever one of you wants to go.
Go ahead, Alex, if you want.
Hey, Anderson. Trey, are we doing English or Spanish?
Spanish.
Español.
Hey, Anderson, en primer lugar le quiero preguntar sobre la pretemporada que estás teniendo. Obvio, ya 2 partidos, 2 goles. ¿Cómo se siente para tener un empiezo de temporada, de pretemporada así?
Hola amigo, primeramente buenas noches con todos. No, la verdad que la pretemporada ha sido algo muy lindo, más que todo primeramente venir aquí como invitados a esta copa. La verdad que lo hemos tomado de la mejor manera, el equipo está trabajando siempre intenso, desde el principio sabemos lo que queremos, en lo que estamos enfocados, pues la verdad muy feliz por estos 2 partidos, haber marcado el primero, bueno, tuvimos la mala suerte de perderlo, pero lo supimos sacar el resultado adelante. Y nada, todavía se está viendo muchas cosas buenas en el equipo, muchas cosas por corregir. Bueno, de a poquito eso lo vamos corrigiendo a pasar de los días. Y muy feliz por lo que estoy viviendo hoy en día en esta pretemporada.
Sí, y hablando del equipo y todo, Mastroeni ha hablado mucho esta pretemporada de cambiar un poco de cómo juega este equipo, cómo juega tácticamente. ¿Cómo te sientes ahorita con el nuevo sistema del profe Mastroeni?
La verdad, con el nuevo sistema le estamos cogiendo de a poco, conforme van pasando los días, nos estamos adaptando al sistema que ellos quieren, porque hoy en día se ve que tenemos una presión más alta, una intensidad mucho más de lo que teníamos la temporada pasada. Entonces, de a poquito, conforme van pasando los días, estamos enfocados en cogerle al 100% la táctica.
Y última de mi parte, ¿cómo ahorita te sientes encontrando con jugadores nuevos que han entrado como Fidel Barajas? Obvio que tuvo un buen partido la última vez. ¿Cómo se ha sentido jugar con estos nuevos jugadores después de perder jugadores como Sabrino, Demir y tal?
No, como dije el otro día, que me hicieron entrevista, la verdad que se fueron buenos jugadores, como Daniel, Sabarino, entonces Rubio, pues hoy han llegado nuevos compañeros que de a poquito nos estamos conociendo, más que todo Fidel, que es un juvenil todavía. La verdad que él está agarrando ritmo en el club, sabiendo lo que el técnico le pide, lo que tiene que hacer. Bueno, creo que de a poco se va a ir adaptando también a nosotros, a los que ya tenemos como una idea de lo que el técnico quiere, y se va a ir adaptando al ritmo de juego de nosotros, lo que le pedimos en cancha, y los movimientos. De a poquito creo que él se está metiendo en eso.
Gracias, Anderson.
Hola Anderson, felicidades por los dos goles que has metido. ¿Qué te ha ayudado a meter más goles esta temporada?
Que me ha ayudado, la verdad que he estado trabajando siempre en eso. Eso es lo que he venido buscando desde el principio, dando gracias a Dios se me está dando, y en esta pretemporada, pues bueno, marcar dos goles en estos dos partidos, la verdad que eso me motiva para llegar muy bien al inicio del torneo.
¿Y cómo fue ya que Chicho está con el equipo de nuevo, qué trae Chicho y cómo te sientes a tener él de nuevo?
Bueno, la verdad que una alegría inmensa de que Chicho está de vuelta en el equipo, porque sabemos todo lo que él aporta, todo lo que es aquí en el club, una persona que siempre admiramos por lo que ha hecho, la verdad que es un goleador nato. Entonces día a día trato de aprender de él, la verdad que conversamos mucho, entonces aprendo muchas cosas, él siempre me da consejos, lo que tengo que hacer dentro de la cancha, cuando está él, los movimientos y todo eso. Entonces de a poco igual nos vamos también comprendiendo mucho más dentro del campo.
Gracias.
Ya.
Nelson, bienvenido. Tienes una pregunta para Ando.
Hola, Anderson, ¿cómo estás? Nelson te saluda. Cuéntame cómo va la química en esta pretemporada.
Hola amigo, muy bien, buenas noches. La verdad que la química en el equipo está muy bien, está excelente. Eso es lo que se ha demostrado en en este poco tiempo que hemos estado acá entrenando en Portugal. Pues esperemos transmitirle eso el día que nos toque el debut del torneo.
Gracias, Julio. Suerte.
Gracias amigo, un abrazo.
Y Ando, el último, ¿qué tan feliz serás cuando regreses a Utah y veas tus amigos Andrés y Nelson y los otros que no están en Portugal?
No, la verdad que a todos se les extraña. Hubiésemos querido que todos estén acá compartiendo con nosotros, pero bueno, no sé, por cosas de la vida no se dio que estén acá, pues pronto estaremos ahí. Y nada, de Andrés, de Nelson, ya estaremos por allá, ahora que ya regresaron de su participación en los preolímpicos, pues bueno, ahí ya les veré, les saludaré, tendremos tiempo para conversar y, y nada, y desearles lo mejor como a todos, darles una buena bienvenida de nuevo al equipo y esperemos que de pronto se puedan adaptar a lo que todos quieren, los técnicos, a lo que les pedimos los jugadores dentro del campo. Entonces yo creo que va a ser también un aporte muy bueno por lo que ellos, por sus cualidades que siempre aportan en los entrenamientos y más que todo en los partidos.
Y este verano en la Copa América, tuyo jugar por Ecuador contra los otros de los cafeteros de Colombia. Ojalá.
Pues esperemos que todo vaya muy
Ah,
bien de la mano de Dios. Entonces, si Dios quiere, ahí estaremos en la Copa América, como dije. Se va a celebrar hoy aquí en Estados Unidos y más que encantado de poder estar en ese gran torneo y poder enfrentar a mis compañeros va a ser algo inolvidable en mi vida, ¿eh?
¿Es difícil o es un honor de jugar por su club en una semana y su país en el próximo?
No, para mí es un honor más que todo vestir la camiseta de mi país. Eso es lo que todo jugador quiere y anhela, estar vistiendo la camiseta de su país. Entonces, la verdad para mí sería un orgullo nuevamente estar ahí llamado a la selección. Pues si es que se da, bienvenido sea. Si no se da, pues apoyar a los que tengan selección desde afuera y desearle el mayor de los éxitos y que les vaya muy bien. Y si estoy ahí, pues sería muy orgulloso.
Perfecto, gracias, señor.
Amigo,
Suerte
gracias.
en viernes. Yeah.
Muchas gracias. Un abrazo, se me cuidan. Chao.
Gracias, gracias.
El hombre, Pablito,
¿Cómo estás, Trey?
¿cómo está, señor?
Todo muy bien, contento.
Felicidades.
Gracias.
Go ahead, guys.
Hola, Pablo.
Español.
¿Cómo te sentiste volver a la cancha hoy?
Bueno, ¿cómo estás? Bien, me sentí muy cómodo, contento de poder regresar al campo de juego después de 5 meses. Creo que se siente una felicidad enorme en el cuerpo mío. Ya creo que todo el día y el día anterior estuve esperando este momento, así que bueno, ahora más que nada disfrutarlo.
Ya que estás de vuelta jugando en partidos, ¿qué piensas, qué opinas del equipo este año? ¿Cómo está, cómo están jugando todos juntos?
Yo lo veo muy bien a los chicos. La verdad que el primer juego lo vi con una intensidad muy buena. Los chicos nuevos se están adaptando al sistema nuestro. Creo que nosotros también lo estamos ayudando un poco. Y obviamente que son juegos de pretemporada que a veces puedes ganar, puedes perder, pero creo que la intención es ayudarnos todos juntos para cuando comience la temporada ser un equipo muy fuerte.
¿Y qué es lo que están tratando de mejorar en las próximas 2 semanas antes de Miami?
Estamos afinando los últimos detalles, obviamente que cuando se juegan con equipos europeos, ellos tienen otro tipo de idea de juego que el de nosotros, pero creo que nosotros estamos haciendo algo muy importante, que es estar compactos juntos, tratar de quebrarle la línea al equipo rival, y creo que tanto hoy día como el partido anterior lo hemos hecho bastante bien, así que esperemos seguir de esa manera.
Gracias.
De nada.
Alex, do you want to go ahead or anybody else? Nelson?
Hey Pablo, enhorabuena por regresar a la cancha hoy. Am, después de tantos meses sin ver la cancha, ¿qué es lo primero que se enfoca el jugador para tratar de estar listo para jugar otra vez una vez, estar listo para los partidos?
Bueno, primero que nada, muchas gracias. La verdad que han sido mucho tiempo sin poder pisar un campo de juego. Creo que me enfoqué principalmente en controlar mis ansiedades, ¿no? Ansiedad en el sentido de querer volver lo más rápido posible. Ha sido un trabajo muy duro con todo el staff acá, con toda la gente que yo también tenía en Argentina. Y creo que el estar bien mentalmente me hizo que hoy en día pueda jugar medio tiempo y sentirme en buenas condiciones físicas.
Pablo, ¿nos puedes hablar un poco de la relación que has tenido y no nomás de usted, pero también con el equipo, con los nuevos asistentes? ¿Cómo va esa dinámica con los nuevos asistentes?
No, es muy buena, es muy buena la relación porque creo que en cada entrenamiento siempre lo hacemos con mucha alegría, con mucha risa. A la hora de trabajar, trabajamos muy serio, lo mismo con los compañeros nuevos, con los chicos que están llegando. La idea es siempre tratar de acoplarlo, que se integren lo más rápido posible al grupo, que vean qué tipo de grupo somos, y la idea es siempre tratar de apoyarlo en todos los sentidos, ya sea cuando se juega, cuando no se juega, y creo que lo más importante es hacer que el grupo siempre esté unido, porque siempre digo que eso es lo que hace que un equipo sea fuerte y pueda lograr cosas importantes.
Es obvio que están en Portugal para jugar la pretemporada, pero háblanos un poco de nomás la experiencia de poder ir a Europa, poder ir a Portugal y tener esa experiencia de visitar a un país como Portugal.
Para nosotros es muy importante, porque creo que es la primera vez que Real Sale hace una pretemporada fuera del país, y poder medirnos con estos tipos de equipos nos hace también poner en buen nivel a la MLS, nosotros principalmente, para apuntar a qué es lo que queremos llegar. Creo que el poder medirnos con equipos de Europa nos hace que nos exijan ellos a nosotros y nosotros exigirlos a los equipos rival, que creo que eso es muy importante para la hora de cuando nos toque volver a la temporada, ser un equipo con mucha intensidad y poder demostrarlo en cada juego.
Gracias, Pablo.
De nada.
Hola Pablo, ¿cómo estás?
Hola Nelson, mucho gusto.
Qué gusto me da verte de nuevo, ¿eh? No sabes qué alegría siento y qué bueno. ¿Cómo está esa rodilla? ¿Cómo está esa pierna? Cuéntame.
Bueno, primero que nada, muchas gracias. La verdad, por dentro mío corre una felicidad enorme. Han pasado, como siempre digo, han pasado 5 meses largos de no poder ver un campo de juego, de no poder estar a la par de mi compañero, de no poder vivir cada entrenamiento como lo vivía. Pero la verdad que muy feliz de poder estar de vuelta en el vestuario con los chicos, el poder entrenar, el poder volver a tocar el campo de juego, un balón, el poder sentir esa adrenalina de cada partido, creo que para mí es algo muy importante.
¿Cómo llega Pablo al partido del 21? ¿Vas a llegar al 100%? ¿Vas a tener minutos monitoreados? Cuéntanos.
Bien, a ver, obviamente que eso ya es parte del cuerpo técnico y ver cómo ellos me ven también a mí. Yo en lo físico me siento muy bien. Hoy ha sido mi primer juego después de mucho tiempo. Me he sentido muy cómodo, muy feliz. Pero bueno, ojalá Dios quiera pueda estar de comienzo en la temporada para poder aportar mi granito de arena al grupo y poder empezar la temporada con todo.
Sin duda alguna, ver a tu equipo desde afuera y darte cuenta con la humildad del caso, qué importante es tu rol en el equipo, qué te hace, qué te hizo pensar y qué te hace sentir ahora que estás de vuelta. Básicamente, te viste fuera y viste lo importante que eras para el equipo, para el sistema. Ahora que estás de vuelta, ¿cómo lo ves?
La verdad, obviamente que cuando uno está de afuera siempre es todo mucho más fácil, ¿no? Porque obviamente uno siempre ve los errores y todo eso. Siempre digo, soy un agradecido a todos mis compañeros, al público, al staff de los técnicos, por hacerme llegar su bueno deseo y diciendo que por ahí se me extrañaba mucho en el campo de juego y eso hizo en mí que yo pudiera trabajar en mi lesión al 100% para yo poder recuperarme bien y poder volver a estar en condiciones para yo poder seguir aportando mi juego al grupo. Creo que por ahí lo mío siempre se basó en ser un creador de juego, en hacer que el equipo jugara hacia adelante y hoy por hoy siento que de a poco, ¿no? Obviamente que todo es un proceso, de poco a poco vamos volviendo a ese ritmo y ojalá estar listo para la temporada para seguir yo poder ayudar al grupo en lo que me toque hacerlo.
Qué bueno, Pablo, porque como tú sabrás, jugadores de tu estilo son cada vez más escasos y cuesta encontrarlos y luego con la personalidad que tú tienes, más difícil todavía. Así que bienvenido y te deseamos mucha salud y muchos goles como ese de media cancha, ¿eh?
Bueno, muchas gracias por tus palabras, la verdad que eso a mí en lo personal me hace muy bien sentir ese cariño, sentir el cariño también de toda la gente que ha estado atrás de mi lesión. Esperemos que esta sea una gran temporada para nosotros. En lo personal deseo mucho poder seguir ayudando a Real Salt Lake, que puedan venir muchos goles más, pero siempre y todo sea para el beneficio del grupo.
Cuídate, suerte.
Gracias, muchas gracias.
Gracias, Pablo.
A ustedes, muchas gracias.
What's up, Pablo? How are you?
What's up, Trey? Doing well, man.
I couldn't find a pirated stream of the game today, so I have no idea how we looked.
It was
seemed
good,
like
man.
seemed like a mixed group did really well together.
Yeah, no, it was once again is one step better than the game before. So yeah, and with all these young kids here too, the Monarchs are going to be flying this year because they're doing really well.
That's awesome. Caleb, you want to lead us off?
Yeah, for sure. I guess to start out, we can maybe talk about the three guys that played for the first time in the preseason today with you, Alex, Catranes, Pablo Ruiz, and then Chicho. What did you see from those three guys specifically today?
Yeah, I think I'll just go back to training. I think when they joined the group, the level went up exponentially. I think there's a lot of confidence in what they can bring to the group. And yesterday's session was really, really sharp. And I think today was no different. I think the three of them played really well. Catranes played 30, Pablo played 45, and Chicho played 15. And Chicho also had a session this morning, a conditioning session this morning. So we're getting a lot, trying to maximize every aspect of this trip in terms of getting these guys up to speed, getting game minutes. And they were all sharp. The group that came out at halftime was really bright, brought some unbelievable energy. And, we created quite a few chances at goal. We just happened to go up against the goalkeeper that was really on the day. But the guys did a much better job of being dangerous in the final third than our previous game, which is, again, I think what we're looking for is just progress. It's not night. We don't want night and day performances. We want progress. And so I think overall those three did really well. But I would say, everyone that participated in this game really took a step forward from the previous performance.
Yeah, and then speaking of that attacking third, Julio has all your guys' goals so far in these first two games. What have you been seeing from Ando, and what's allowed him to do well, but also I guess what do you need to see from the other attackers to make sure he's not the only one?
Yeah. I think what Ando, in the last game he did it more from a defensive standpoint. I thought today he was really dangerous. Not only getting to the end line and he had another one that hit off the post. But I think it's more vertical running. I think too many, we're playing a bit more of ball dominant football, and at times everyone gets attracted to the ball, kind of like a moth to a lamp. And really to be dangerous in the final third, you need to create space for yourself, which typically means disorganizing the defense in a really tight area, which only happens with runs behind. And so he's probably done that the best today. Chicho came in and did it a few times. Fidel looked threatening. We just need to get the rest of the guys thinking, once we get our shape in the attack in half, is how are we going to disorganize the defense? And the only way to do that is vertical running. But the interesting thing with Ando too is last game he played as a 9. Today he played as a right winger, and that element of speed and the threat behind really asks a lot of questions of the defense as well. Because if they want to go touch tight, there's a lot more space in the wide areas, and he did a really good job of exploiting those today.
Yeah, so now that you mentioned that, my last question will be about the guy that played striker for you guys, Elijah Paul. He had kind of I guess an up and down rookie season, maybe went away on loan for a bit. What have you seen so far from Elijah in the preseason, and what does he have to do to be able to stick with the first team this year?
Yeah, we had this conversation before the season starts. I think Elijah, and it actually leads me to a point that I made during the game, which was, as a striker, it's the one position, it's a lot like a goalkeeper, right? Where you can talk about your hold-up play, you can talk about the runs that you're making, your technique. But at the end of the day, you're getting judged on how many goals you score. And like a goalkeeper, you can talk about his feet, you can talk about all these things, but it's really about how few goals you let in. And so there was a moment in the game today where he was withdrawing so deep from the front line. And I said, listen, when we're in the attacking half, you need to be thinking, the only thing you're thinking about is, am I in a great position to play off the back shoulder of the center back here to beat him to a spot? You should only be thinking goals. And so I think at the end of the day, it's scoring goals in preseason, scoring goals with us, scoring goals with Monarchs. And that way there's no subjective measure. It's really objective. And if you're scoring goals and you're a 9, that means you're in really great form and you're going to help our team.
Awesome. Thanks.
Yep.
Go ahead,
Hey,
Alex.
Pablo. Hey, Pablo. Congrats on the win today. I want to focus specifically on Pablo Ruiz. There was a lot of talk in the latter half of the season, talking about how important he is to this team. Just talk to us a little bit about what's it like having him back and what you saw from him in his first run since injury.
Yeah, I think, again, another player that has jumped into the first team training this week and has increased the level of play and his ability to see passes before he receives them, his ability to hold the ball up and bring calm to the game. I mean, everything that Pablo is. Last year, he was our deep line playmaker. He was the guy that got us out of tricky spots when we were pinned to the sideline, but he was also the guy that put goals and assists on the board for us as well. So he was really our go-to guy up and down the spine. And today we tried him in kind of like in a 10 position, defending from the front, which was very it was a different sight. Usually you see him in the middle of the field, but he had some really good actions, had some really good moments on both sides of the ball, breaking up plays, triggering presses. He found Chicho on the back post, played a nice through ball. So he's doing a lot of Pablo things and really bringing quality to our group. And I think, that's the one thing in this preseason is not having everyone in. It's been difficult to kind of judge where we're at. But like I said, again, having him, Chicho, Alex on the field really brought a good level to the group, a really aggressive defending, really aggressive attacking. And there's some really good stuff being played today. And so I think moving forward, it's just, trying to organize the midfield in a way that puts him in the best position to feel to contribute the best to the team. But I thought today he did really well and he was comfortable in that position. So, I think we'll go at it again on Friday before we head at home.
And then real quick, last one from me. In both games, you've given an extended run to Gavin Beavers in goal. What have you seen from him continuing to grow as a young goalkeeper coming up in this team?
Yeah, we're asking a lot from our goalkeepers with the ball at their feet. I think that's an area that he needs to continue to improve upon. I think he's been a lot more comfortable in this preseason than he was last year. And then again, I think Gavin has the knack of making big plays, and he made a big play in the first half where he came out when the ball was getting played through and was really, really brave. And so I think for Gav, it's to continue to do well. with the minutes that he gets. And to this point, he's been really good in preseason.
Awesome. Thanks, Pablo.
Yep.
Hey, Pablo, just real quick from me. Obviously, getting those guys back this week is a big step. And then you look towards next week. Presumably, Nelson is back in the group, and we'll see. Hopefully, Andres's knee injury wasn't too bad, but it sounds like those guys just had an amazing experience with the Colombian Olympic group. What does that get you even more excited as we look forward to a long season?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think both Andres and Nelson were guys that we were planning to play a huge role in our group this year. And I think they both ended last year off on a good note. And so you never know how quickly they'll integrate with the group and all the things that we're adapting in 2024. But I have no doubt that they're going to bring a level of quality that we need, a level of competition that they've been playing at that we need early on in the season. And so I anticipate, without any injuries, that they'll be really, really important players for our group.
And then I guess sort of the last question for me related to Pablo Ruiz, you kind of answered it because we didn't really know that he was going to be playing in the more advanced 10 spot today. But I remember last year when he got hurt, one of the things that you continually pointed out was when he played in that deep line playmaker, that pivot spot, he was such a release valve for the back four. With the way you've kind of described the 4-2-3-1 and how we attack with three in the back, does that change that role for whoever's in the pivot as it relates to relieving that pressure in the back?
Yeah, we've been doing it more by committee. I think that's a good question, Trey. We've been doing it more by committee, and it's been Ojeda and Emeka, and they've been doing a good job. I think the difference between those two and Pablo is Pablo's ability to play vertical and find Chicho off the back shoulder, because again, those moments happen really, really quickly. And so if you don't know that Chicho's off the back shoulder before you get the ball, that window closes. And so, I think we'll look at the game today and see the spots that Pablo got into. And like I said, he found Chicho once, and it was a really, really fantastic play. But I think, again, in order for us to be really dangerous in that final third, is we got to get Chicho the ball as much as we can. So the onus is really on whoever's playing in there to always have their head on a swivel, always know where he's at, and more importantly, be able to play a ball, a ball that's required for him to be able to get on it. So, but again, I think we've been doing it by committee. We'll continue to look at, how we can best, set up the group to be able to find that, because that was an important part of last year when we were in a good run of form, was the connection that Pablo and Chicho had together. So, and now that he's playing a little bit more advanced, or at least did today, is getting Pablo in those positions where he can be able to do that more often.
This is I guess, where would you say you're at in terms of maybe restrictions for Pablo coming back from the injury, Chicho, fitness? Are those guys ahead of maybe where you thought they might be, considering they've only been around the group for a few days?
Yeah, I mean, with Chicho, it's really an unknown. Like I said, when he got in, we were expecting like a recovery day, and basically he's thinking, I flew all the way to Portugal and I'm gonna have a recovery day. And he's like, I slept on the plane, I'm ready to go. And so he exceeded all expectations. And my whole thing is, like, we can do science all we want. We can talk about data and what the science says about sleep and travel and all this stuff. But when Chicho goes, no, I'm ready to go. And that for me is the most important thing. It's got to be an experienced player that's talking, that knows his body, that knows himself. If a younger player were to say that, I'd probably be a bit more hesitant. But so he's been kind of leading the charge. And this morning he did a session this morning with our fitness coach Chapo, and then played 15 minutes, and he played at a really good pace today. Like, it was really, and the game kind of called for it. It was a smaller field, but he was electric. And so, I think we'll try to push him as much as we can at the weekend without putting him in a compromised situation. And Pablo as well. We want to increase his numbers because again, the fitness part is also the player understanding how long can I push myself at this pace if it's going to be a 90-minute game, right? Because it's not, if you're coming in for 15 minutes or 45 minutes, you can literally go all out. But we only got so many substitution moments in a real game, and so it's got to be a situation where we feel the player's not going to put himself at harm, and two, that he can contribute in the way that we need that's best for the team.
Awesome, Pablo. We'll chat with you Friday. Really appreciate you taking the time.
All right, guys. Thank you.